Happy Friday, everyone. Christine here from Unique Sapphire. Glad to see all your smiling faces. Got my motivation here, doing my morning planks. We got loads to talk about. Insider secrets and much more. Let's get started. Whew. I didn't faceplant. Yes. Ooh, that was invigorating. Loads to talk about today. Loads to talk about. So glad to see you here. A lot of local yarn shops are gearing up for a trade show, part of the TNNA this weekend, which actually some of the classes and stuff started today, Friday. And I did go once. Then they raised the rates and I got the contacts that I needed out of there, out of that one show, out of that 1 year membership. Why do I say that? Because, as you know, I'm a big advocate of giving credit where credit is due. And you should be as well with whatever you're creating. Because if you're creating anything, are you infringing on copyright or patent laws? A few years ago, I want to say it's been 2 years now, I did attend a conference through my small business administration office on copyrights and patents and the laws involving stuff. And I got a lot of information out of that. And that's why everything I post on my channel and do, I give credit where credit is due. I'm covering my ass from that perspective. Yes. So say the sweater, the baby sweater, the hat that was in the other video, anything, even if you couldn't see exactly the pattern, because this yarn really didn't show off all that cabling, I gave credit where credit was due because I used it as a prop. And I do have a business and a business entity, and I want to protect that and not overstep the bounds. So, with that being said, everyone who cried at the end of the video and saw me frogging that hat, I put just a ribbed hat, no mush mouth, nice and small, tight. It's gonna work. And I have enough to finish it. I have another little ball out in the great room as well. So, a few weeks ago, as you know, I had an issue with a show that I was going to participate in. And I don't want to dwell on that too much. However, yarn companies, when I went out to that trade show, didn't want to talk to someone small and online like me. I made my contacts with who would talk to me. I talked to a lot of people. I was shunned sometimes because I'm an online entity. So, did I find that disheartening? No. They want to protect where their products are being sold. So, this gets me into a contact that I signed up for. Through that, and I get news from Yarn Market News. And I get it in my email, and there's an awesome article in here, which is, and I'm going to probably botch the name here, Carol Solkowski. She's a Philadelphia-based attorney. And also, let me get my glasses on, a knitting author, teacher, dyer, and designer. And this article states that it is only her opinion and not her employer. I'm not sure where she's employed at, but she writes on about stolen goods and if a pattern is actually covered in the United States by the copyright law. Just to give you an overview real quick, there's only so many gauges out there. So say if you have a top-down sweater or a bottom-up sweater or a piece sweater and body measurements, chest circumference for females are all the same. So it depends on how much ease you want. You're gonna get the same numbers. if you're going to do it in fingering weight, sport weight, worsted, whatever you want to do it in, you have a guide, a gauge, and your yarn. It predicts what you're creating. So in essence, under the US copyright laws, something simple as that and stitches are not copyrightable. The only thing that a designer will have a copyright issue with is a motif that can be taken out of that knitted piece or crocheted piece. And it has to be innovative, it has to be unique, it has to be different. So say if you change up a pattern just to meet your needs, you're not infringing on that copyright per se unless there's a motive. So keep that in mind. You know, when you're creating something, and if you have a lot of hats and scarves and you want to take it to the local church bazaar and sell them, because what are you going to do with all of them? And that's your pastime, and you've got them piled up, you know, in bins. So keep that in mind. As long as there's not a motif that can be like taken out of that, and it's completely unique. Stitch patterns are not unique. Yarn overs, knit stitch, purl stitch, none of that can be copyrighted. And that goes into my business of dyeing fibers. There's a lot of copycats out there, and there's nothing I can do about it because there's only so many colors, so many color choices that work well together and different techniques, and we kind of all try to dye up a little bit different. Everyone's a little bit different. Like, I'm known for a lot of bold, bright colors, you know? Whereas some of you as consumers might not like bold, bright colors and like more pastel, earthy, you know, and I do some earthy tones here and there, but it's not quite frequently. Why? Because I love color. I get out there and hike, the world is full of nothing but bright, bold, beautiful colors, and that's what inspires me to create. So, onward to another thing that I've recently, because I have a big mouth, I can say it. When I was at the TNNA, again, I made some contacts. I ditched all of my US mills that, as a small indie dyer, that I can obtain yarn from. Why? Because all the local indie dyers are using, there's like 3 in the US to get yarn, and they're not USA based. Now, I could have went through Brown Sheep and met their minimum and dyed their yarn. But I thought, okay, and touted it's all US because that's what they do. Or I made a contact at the TNNA and changed up what I was dyeing. Why? I don't tout that my yarns are US based. I know where they come from. I know where they're milled at. Why? I have batch numbers to prove it. So if any of my customers want to know where this is coming from and if it's ethically sourced, which the merino that I do get in, I pay more for, yes. I can contact that mill, say I need batch number whatever, and where is it coming from? Where was it spun at? I can trace it. How cool is that? US mills, unless you're going small and local, you're not gonna get that. You're not gonna know where your wool's from. Just saying. Even the mill in Maine where I bought this from, even though it was spun in the US by the mill, it is not 100% US fiber. And this is just what they classify medium grade wool, which is yummy. Why am I telling you all this? Well, since the last recent events, and it is now summer, and the TNNA is happening, a lot of people aren't creating with yarn. So my business has slowed a little bit, which I'm not worried about. However, that gives me the opportunity to apologize for the last video. I had a section in there. Yes, it was long. I'm glad you made it through there. But it was kind of dark. Yes, I do have the overhead rig. Yes, it's been raining outside and it's just been... I need to upgrade some equipment. And I was thinking, I've been talking a lot about creating a community and answer your questions and, you know, have it community-based that everyone gets a say in. So I've been pondering it for some time and I just had to dive in. So I created a Patreon account. So if you're not familiar with Patreon, Patreon is a creator-based creative platform so that I can put up content that's not publicly out there, but I can share with you on that platform. We can have, well, I did set up a poll already, and we can chat, well, I haven't set up the chat feature yet. I'm trying to figure that logistic out. But for a small fee per month, I'll put content there that's not seen here, but also keep the content flowing here. However, what's the difference between Patreon? Yes, you pay a small fee, but you can chat, you can comment, I'll get back to you what you want to see. What is your issues that you're facing? Are you starting a creative business? Or are you in a creative rut? How to keep motivated? It will be completely based on the community and the polls and what the content is on that Patreon page. And you can only see it if you subscribe to it for a small monthly fee. I hope that makes sense. So, please like, subscribe as always. Hit the bell to be notified for when I post a new video. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.